Okay, I got thinking about it, and it just really drilled me. I couldn't really think about the fathom nature of the SI unit time and anything else. Omega is in its own set. When you think big economy, it's a word in a bubble. It's stuff, it's shape, it's time, it's anything. Um, so with that, you get lost with a time or a land, swamp, ocean, mountain. In set theory, they go to all those systems. So how do you play it in the economy? Well, it's kind of like a bond calculator or what dividing by zero. The 1/100,000 just makes a larger, hotter number than a whole number divided by something. Why is that so important, and why did I mention bond calculator? Well, in all the things in set theory you could define as work, we all know that it's an arbitrary, weird thing. Nothing really determines time from one another, their positions, and how it all goes, short of the hot early universe, right? And then what could have been going down in there. And besides that, you got to argue a penny for 100 pieces in one day, or one piece for $100 in one day, is roughly the two ends of the spectrum that most people do. So we're just going to stick a number in there and say that's the economy. Everybody needs to produce at least that much a day, and there's some set theory through a week, a month, or bi-monthly, 6 monthly, a year that sets down, and it's always the big first three off of it anyways: daily, weekly, monthly, or bi-weekly. Um, or it'd be a daily, a contract of some kind to an arbitrary end of days where you are basing that economy on a shorter stick where it plays around and does some weird stuff. It's not really one in that standard. Because what one is, back to zero in all this, is an idea of there are many things in the group state of worth in manufacturing a penny, but it's very liquid. There are things that are obviously in the same day 5 cents a piece out of that $100 day. That correlates to the inflating standard of it. More of them do. It ranges because remember how I said it was uncertain, a little high, a little low, a little forward, a little back. Well, that is the range of it oscillating, not necessarily as it's moving through the arrow of time there. It's saying that that land is, the more you overburden it, or what is it, waste or erosion, or what is it, topsoil erosion, that it's not really going to be the forest in that same way. Now it's farmland. And so they really can't be under the same economical HUD anymore, given the way logging works through the unit. Does 1 = 1 to the farmer's lot of corn against the same lot or the number of lots you need for tree logging? No. So you have to make the adjustment on those, whether it be the penny per 100 or 1 per 100. You cut down one tree that was a monster because inside of the range of those sets it does. I would imagine the less precise your breaks are on what it is, because the N1/2, N1/3 are your first and second orders under what zero is, or any 0/1. It's still part of the same thing. It's a subparticle, isotope, a hydrogen, or helium, excuse me. Well, which way are you going there is again that notation, because there might be something that, if it's an even number, well then yeah, there's even group states, but where does the charge come from, right? Where does that extra entropy, if it's locked in, unless momentum compresses it in some way? And who knows what that's going on. I just thought that was a cool little subject matter, like 100, a penny a product for 100, could go a lot faster, because if it's a penny per piece and you're way faster on a, what is it, essentially a 10-hour day, just to make it easy, but it could be 8 in OT. You're getting a lot of those systems in. As long as people do 8 and OT, or just a straight 10, well, then you have two different potential zeniths under a site that already exists. Let's say that's a stone mill. Now, nobody's going to want to take the lower form of what it is, because $10 at $20 an hour is $200, but 8 hours at 20 plus OT is obviously a lot more. It's 30, so it'd be 60, 60 and 80, or 160 is 320 or something like that, or 120 or 220, something like that. And that's quite a big difference from that 200 or 220 to 200, 200 and 220. Yeah. And that's a big difference, but over the 52s, you don't have to necessarily put that in as far as your overtime in the morning, or excuse me, you could put it in the morning, given that you could put it at the end of the day. You could put that in the first half of your year overtime and then do the rest and still come out ahead given the minimum wage standard, 40-hour standard. You could do a lot of things, and at any point in time they could be, again, that independent pay for the day that makes that difference. Quintessence or connection, supersymmetry or ultra relativistic quantum, superposition, entanglement, or so I don't think we're looking at it in a set theory form correctly. And with that said, I think it's going to give us different wave models of the way it's producing something, and the Sentinel's not going to be able to focus correctly. Not that they ever could. Remember the blow up tank, or the air balloon spy tanks against what it's normally pinned to missiles. When we figure that out, well, then you don't need as many hypersonic missile ones. You need a handful of the balloon radar ones, because it's less dangerous as far as what I would for a signal node, or where the intensity or strength is triangulating those points to be. But yeah, so it's valuable in terms of time, I guess.